Hello students, now we will discuss about what are the features that are exhibited by solute particles during the process of diffusion. So features of diffusion. Diffusion is considered as a downhill process. It means that when particles are not utilizing any ATP energy and they are moving from their higher concentration to their lower concentration, then we use a term like downhill process. If ATP is utilized, then we can use a term like uphill process. But here in general, a simple diffusion is a downhill process. Means ATP is not utilized. For such process, we give another term like passive process. Second one, diffusion is considered as a random kinetic motion. It means that generally solute particles will be moving based on the kinetic movement. Random means in general. Third one, diffusion is very slow process. Means here we said that ATP is not utilized. So the solute particles will be moving very slowly. Next, diffusion, it is initiated by concentration gradient, which we said as concentration gradient is one of the factors that is affecting diffusion. So diffusion is initiated or driven by. Why these points are very important to learn? Sometimes these can be framed into one statement wise questions, or this can be converted into match the following type of questions. So better to learn what are all the features that are related to diffusion. Next, diffusion is not dependent on a living system. Means it is not depending on the metabolic activity of the living organism's body. It generally happens. So that we have written here, it is a random. It depends on the random kinetic motion. So diffusion does not depend on living system. It means, again I am telling, it means the diffusion is not sensitive to inhibitors. What are inhibitors? Inhibitors are the substances that stop the activities of enzymes during the metabolic activities inside the living organism's body. Since we have written here as they are not dependent on living system, so there is no point of action of inhibitors on the solute particles that has to be diffused. Next one, diffusion happens in gases. So gases can be diffused into liquids, or gases can be diffused into gases, and gases can be diffused into solids also. And in liquids, again, a liquid can be diffused into other liquid, liquid can be diffused into a solid, but solid particles cannot be diffused into other solid. So these both can be diffused into solids, but solids cannot be diffused into other solids. This one is given with a sentence framing in NCERT as written as diffusion in solids is rather than of solids is more likely. Complete meaning of this sentence framing is solids cannot be diffused into other solids, but gases can be diffused into solid, liquid can be diffused into solid. So this sentence means solids cannot be diffused into other solids. So these are features of diffusion. Generally simple diffusion, which is considered as a downhill process.